Good morning, YouTube. Salty Texas here with another pin project, and it is only 87 degrees in my workshop. So for West Texas in July, that's relatively cool. So as you know, on Thursdays we do pins, and I haven't built a pin in a very long time. You guys saw my pin project from last week, but this week was actually the first attempt back in several months trying to make a pin. And I've got all these cool acrylic blanks that I've been working with. Pulled one randomly out of the box there and decided, you know what, let's make a pen since we haven't done one in a long time. So just getting everything marked up here. This is like a cool, it's got like a neon orange type of thing going on there. And then my dumbass decided to take this over to the miter saw. This is stupid. Please do not do this. I am dumb. I don't know why I keep doing that. So once I got that cut down and kept my fingers, now we're going to go ahead and just drill those guide holes in there so we can put the brass finishings in there and get this turned down onto the lathe. But since I haven't done this in a while, I have had issues with blowouts while drilling. So this ended up happening. I'm assuming that I just drilled a little too far, was a little too aggressive, so that didn't work. So a little bit later, it is now 88 degrees in the workshop, so I'm like, okay, it's still relatively cool in the workshop. We can get something done. It's only July. So then I go back and pick up another blank that's kind of similar. It's got the cool green. It's a little bit yellow on this one, and decided, you know what, let's try to make something out of this one. So I was going to completely start over. That was kind of the plan going into this one, and decided, okay, cool blank, let's try this again. So this is round 2. So I pick this up again, do the same thing, just trying to guide where we're going to actually drill the holes, and we're going to try drilling through this again. And instead of taking it over to the miter saw, I decided, hey, let's use the bandsaw and try to keep our fingers. So cut through that first piece and then came back and cut off that little other chip, left a little extra on there, no issues whatsoever. So then I take it back to the lathe, and there's already a lot of wobble, and drill through that one, and I'm pretty gentle with it. So I'm like, okay, cool, no problems there. And then I have some shakiness in the camera, looks like a Michael Bay film a little bit, get that rearranged, and then boom, go back to drilling out that second piece. And I'm thinking, okay, it's gonna be okay. And then the damn thing blew out yet again. So that's 2 pieces completely blown through, and I'm like, all right, so can't use those, but I have 2 pieces of equal size. We're gonna go ahead and use these instead. So yes, they're different blanks, but they're, you know, well enough to where I think it'll still look cool if we make a pen out of it. So then we're just going to scratch up the actual brass portions of this so that the glue adheses a little bit better. We're going to use 15-minute epoxy on this one, and then we're going to get those on there, give it a couple of hours, then come back and turn it onto the lathe. And as you saw earlier, I don't know if you noticed that, but where the actual portion of the brass goes, there is a very thin amount of acrylic there. So I'm thinking I'm going to have a lot of blowout once I get it onto the lathe. So I really took my time on this one because there was such little material between the brass fitting and the actual leftover pieces of acrylic. So I'm hoping that it doesn't have like a catastrophic chip out at this point. But I shaved it down, really took my time. Again, just using the smallest carbide tool that I have. I didn't use any other tools. I think the round carbide tool is like pretty much the only tool that I need to get this done, which works relatively well. This first piece went by real easy, no problems there. That acrylic I'm still getting used to working with, but it's a pretty good material. If your chisel heads are sharp, it'll cut right through, no problem. So we got that first part done, and now we're just moving over to the second part here. The most annoying thing was just the acrylic bunching up the ribbons and everything. I had to start and stop the lathe a couple of times just to make sure that I could get that material worked down and that I wasn't gouging too aggressively, and making sure that I was at a good depth and getting a good taper on either end of the actual blank itself here. But once I took my time and cleaned it up, it went relatively well. You can see there I'm just taking off the ribbons. But that's the key to doing these pens, is just really taking your time. It's a lot of just delicate work. But once we got to the shape that I wanted, same thing as the other pens, going from 120 to 220 to 340. Not doing a lot of sanding, just a little bit, just here and there. Don't really spend a lot of time doing that, which is good. It's not like doing a whole bowl project where you're just sanding and sanding and sanding forever. And then we're just going to come and hit it with some super glue, and then you get to really see the shine of that acrylic, which comes out really good. I love making these pens. So Thursdays are just going to be pens, I think, on the channel. So if you guys are, bored of me just making pens, sorry, it's my channel. I'm going to make whatever I want to make. And I think Thursdays are going to be primarily just making pens. So a little bit of extra material on the actual blanks itself. So just taking that over to our little saw, not our saw, but our sander, and just getting those bushings down all the way flat. And now we can start the assembly, and thank goodness that I know how to do this now. So putting together these pens has become a lot easier since I really have figured out how to do it and watched a good tutorial video on it as well. So pen assembly went relatively easy. Had a little bit of a problem getting it fitted. Some of the brass was a little bent, and that was kind of an issue there. But once we got that in, everything else assembled pretty relatively easy. Not a whole lot of issues there. And then just getting that done, and then boom, we're all finished and all done, and another successful pin. So left the plastic on there, or the wax portion on there a little bit, so I had to come back, take that off. But overall, it will write. So I survived the heat, and we're all done, and this is what the pen looks like, all finished, all nice and neat. Even though there's two different blanks, I think they kind of really go together. I think it looks really cool. So overall, really happy how this project turned out. Again, Thursdays are going to be our pen days. So hope you guys liked it. Hope you got something out of it. There might be giveaways in the future, so just be looking out for that, and I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, peace. All right, so project is done. And for all the problems that I had with this pen, from having two different blanks, it turned out pretty good. So here we are, have that all done. You can see, had a little bit, there's still a little wax on the tip there, but it works. And that's usually the big thing with these pens, is just getting them to work. And death grip while turning those, obviously I probably went over that in the commentary, but overall really happy how this one turned out. In spite of breaking both these blanks, it was a good mistake. It was a happy mistake because it looks really cool. A little bit difficulty, the transition here at this point, but overall I would say pretty good pen, feels good in the hand, it will write, and that's the big thing. So overall pretty happy with this one, another banger pen. Fun little projects on Thursdays. So hope you guys liked it, hope you got something out of it, and see you guys in the next one. All right, peace. Boop.